Create a rise, I was positive surgeon. Cosmic folks see emergence. Brain of eternal, hands on my time. Impossible prince can God watch you step in the mind. Soul triggers, power holy divine righteousness. Combined with courage, love of essence. Don't let trauma bind and block your blessings. When you behind the veil, you hear the confession. Give you limitation, corruption, fear, deception. This the age of no evolution and resurrection.
Welcome back to another episode of Talk That Crap. It's been a very, very interesting couple of weeks. There's been a lot of transitioning, and with people that I know, friends, they have family members that have been transitioning. A lot has been going on. I had own family members that have transitioned. So today we just really want to get into nature models and mental models. And it hit me when I came back and I began to reminisce and reflect back on some Deepak Chopra. Y'all know who Deepak Chopra is. He has one of the books that I had got from him that really impacted me was the 7 Spiritual Laws of Success by Deepak Chopra. And before he had it was a DVD, it was a 3-part DVD series, CD series, excuse me. That was way back when we didn't, everything wasn't online. You actually had to buy DVDs, CDs, and things like that. So anywho, it was an actually 3 CD player. And you listen to 3 discs, and one of the discs that he was speaking about was called mental models. So I began to really dig into the mental models that we today carry, live in, adapt our lives to these mental models. And a lot of times we are in situations where we don't recognize our own mental model. And so I began to wonder, even back then, I began to wonder, why is it so tough for us to really realize the very nature of our model? And so with that question took me deeper into the studies, and then that took me into nature models. So I began to look at nature models, and I began to look at how we model ourselves after nature, yet leave out the harmony. We model ourselves after nature and leave out the harmony. And yes, there are destructive times, and yes, there are times of replenishment. There are nature is a funny thing, because it gives you everything, and it'll take from you everything based upon the nature. So these mental models, I was going through some of my notes today, and one of the things, the question I have is, what is your thought perspective, externally or internally, environmental, society perspective, personal or purpose, when it comes to mental models? So how do you frame your mind when it comes to the models that you call real, that you identify with every day, that every day you go about doing the thing that you do, you modeling something? You know, you look at some of the great athletes, they say, who do you model your game after? And they'll begin to tell you all the different players that they model their game after, whether it's NBA or NFL and soccer, hockey, whatever sport you want to go to. Even if you want to go into entertainment, you know, you ask anyone in entertainment, you say, well, who you model yourself after? Who do you strive to be like? Who is the person that influenced you the most? The thing that influences you the most is your mental model. The thing that influences you the most is your mental model. So what happens when you don't even know your mental model? What happens when someone else actually has the reign and is at the helm of your mental model? And what happens when you don't know the nature of that mental model? Want to mess with me right now? I ain't want to do what it does, like right now. Hey man, it still go on. Anyway, let me put this old hedge of protection around us and we can continue doing what we're doing. So blessing to the people, always. So I go back to your mental models, nature models. Nature has given us the blueprint to model ourselves after. We have taken on a dysfunctional model, and we're calling that dysfunctional model real. It's a defect. Well, what happens when you don't know you're living in a defect? What happens when you're living in a defect model? Probably not going to get the best experience because you're already dealing with something that's in a defect. It's no good. What happens when the nature of that defect erupts and corrupts your life? What happens? When the very nature of that thing that's so dysfunctional, so flabbergasting that you can't even figure out, why does this keep happening to me? So some of you may be listening to this or watching this, and you be telling people about situations that happen in your life over and over and over and over again. Well, when things happen in your life over and over and over and over again, realize that those are models. Those are mental models that you have that you correlate to reality, functionality, personality, and identity. Those are the things that you call real. So a lot of times we may have particular models in our life, and the models that we hold as a function, as a base, as a way of living, as a way of understanding, that model may be dysfunctional. That model could be out of date. That model could be obsolete. So what happened when you're using an obsolete model, an outdated model? We're just talking about mental models. What happens when you don't understand the nature of that model? What happens? You know, we have an opportunity right now to understand something about ourselves that no one can take away. Yet, based upon the model, some people don't care. Some people don't have the time. Some people don't have the patience. And others that find themselves in so much pain, can't even see the love and the joy. Because that's their model. Their model is the pain. So, question: what happens when you model your day in pain, in regret, in suffering? What happens when you bring a model that was dysfunctional? Let's say the model that you carried 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and that model is dysfunctional. What happens when you still carry that model 10 years later, yet you say you're starting something new? How do you start something new with the same model? In order for you to experience something new, you should have a new model. And the new model going to give you the new experience. It's the same thing with nature. Nature balances itself out. Now we may complain about the storms and the rain and the cold and the heat. And all of what we're complaining about is because we are separated from nature. When you're one with nature and you're one in nature, you begin to understand that nature has a process of balancing itself out. If it's a cold winter, it's going to be a hot summer. If it's a hot summer, it's going to be a cold winter. The seasons of spring and fall and autumn and summer, all of those seasons are part of nature. The same thing as as anything, a flower that blooms that comes from a seed. it has a nature of the seed in order for it to evolve and bloom into. We're so captivated by so much pain, by so much negativity, so many things that have gone wrong, we miss the very understanding of that which is right here within us all. That the nature of God lands within all of us. It dwells within us. And what happened when you don't have a mental model of God's mind? I didn't say know God's mind. I say the mental model. In all of these religion aspects of all of um, these texts that has been written out, all these occult texts, all of these texts explain an expression, and men that can explain, or women that can explain an expression of God's mind. And they all knew they had an expression of God's mind. And if you don't know you have an expression of God's mind, which means that you have a model, a belief system that you're not able to express God's mind. And why is that? How is that possible? That if you're made in the likeness of God and you're one with God and you and God are one, how is it that you're not able to express God's mind? Do you not know God? You're looking for somebody to tell you who God is. You're looking for somebody to tell you the full expression, the strength of God. And by the way, if y'all hear some little ones in the background, they're my grandkids. And I told them I was back here. I was doing the podcast. But kids gonna be kids. You gotta love that. Kids gonna be kids. And I love the purity in that. So back to what I was saying, the understanding the nature of God's mind. What happens when you disconnect and you forfeit your nature of God's mind? What is that like when you forfeit your nature of God's mind? Then the question I ask is, what is your mental model of the thing that you forfeit? And if you forfeit God's mind, have you not recognized the power of God's mind in you? These are all mental models. And we build mental models from when we are children. If you go back when I was a child, we used to have what we call these model toys. And you had to put these models together, but these models all had a lot of pieces to it. So you had to take your time and put piece by piece by piece by piece in order to create the model that you really desired that could be functional. Because the car, the helicopter, whatever it is you were building that was your model, it needed to be function when you finish building it. If you build it and it didn't function, then you didn't build the model right. So the whole thing was about getting the model right. So whatever the toy that you wanted to play with that you put together, it was a model. Now everything is down low. There's no model to put together. Even when it comes to puzzles, when you have 25-piece puzzles, 50-piece puzzles, and 100-piece puzzles, and 300 pieces puzzles, those are all models. Those are all things that you put together in order for you to actually create a particular image, a picture. You had to put all of those things together. So here we are living in a world where our mental models, if we're not careful, can cause us more harm than good. Your mental model can cause you more harm than good based upon your mental perspective and what you call real. The thing that you say, I believe in. The thing that you get up and do every single day without thinking about it. You're not thinking about this. Every day you're fulfilling your model. Every day. So if you want to know what your mental model is, all you gotta do is watch your everyday action. Your everyday action gonna tell you your habit. They're gonna tell you your mental model. It can share with you with your emotional state, your mental state. All of these things are models. As I stated before, When people, how you wake up in the morning and you're angry, what kind of model do you have to be in that much despair that when you open your eyes, you in pain? Ooh, how does that how's that possible? And claim the all power of God within? Call yourself gods and goddesses. Those who follow any type of religious belief. You say you believe in the God that you serve. How you wake up that angry? Without anybody doing anything to you. Just in your own mind, your own model in your mind causing you that much pain, that much anger, that much regret, that much frustration in the morning time or in the nighttime. You know, this thing have no time limit to it. We just talking about the models. I'm going through all of these different models, relationship models. I was gonna do it another show. It came up now. So we're gonna roll through it right now. But what happened when you have a relationship model that's dysfunctional? I know me myself until I learned the true essence of love within. All my relationships were fucked up. That's why they always ended horribly. I can say the last few relationships that I've had, they've ended. They haven't ended in anger or hate. It's a mutual. You go your way and I go mine. Because the model that I have is not something to be angry about someone else because it doesn't stop whether she wants to be with me or not, or whether I want to be with her or not. It does not matter. The model itself is not that of despair, it's not that of hurt, it's not that of worry, it's not that of confusion. When you hold the model of love, what does that look like? What does that feel like to have a model of love, a mental model of love, a nature model of love? If we really understood the nature of relationship in harmony, in love, there wouldn't be as many divorces. There wouldn't be as many relationships that have people going outside of the relationship because the woman would give exactly what it is that he desires, and he would give exactly what it is that the woman desires. So it's the nature. And look, nature has something greater. And I was doing some writing the other day, and in my writing, one of the statements that were revealed to me is that truth is not always compatible to how you feel. I'm gonna say that one more time. Truth is not always compatible to how you feel. So some people want truth in a model, in a mental model that might not be in the true nature. Because truth in its nature is evolution. That's what truth is. When truth comes, it comes to bring evolution. Truth does not come to satisfy a feeling. Truth does not come to point fingers at someone or what they're doing or not doing. Truth did not come to give a point of importance. If you're sharing truth with others, your importance should be humble. You should be humble just to share that knowledge. If you are above the knowledge and you right there with the truth, then you need to humble yourself to the truth. The truth is an evolution. And again, truth is a model itself. What happens when you model your mind in truth and you begin to detach yourself from all of these ideas and beliefs and you only model your mind and your spirit in truth? What does that look like? What does that feel like? Will you be angry when truth begins to reveal itself in your life because it doesn't fit the box you in? What do you do when truth comes and it reveals itself and you're not ready? And you want to complain about what truth has shared with you. Have we complained so much from what others have done to us? And I'm not releasing any weight of the things that they have done to us as a people. So I'm not taking that away and not thinking that those things does not affect us mentally and emotionally. It's already proven in science, it's in our genes that you actually have full memory of all things that happen within your cellular and nervous system. It's all within your mind. It's all within your archetypical mind. And the archetype, they say you hold all mental records of all human emotion and action, which means that you got from the beginning of time to the end of time within you all that man is and all the defaults of man is and all the problem that man is and the whole nature of all that debauchery. So the most, quote unquote, the most evilest thing in the world still inside of you. And the greatest power of liberation that also dwells within you, all at the same time. It's just a model. What happens when you don't have a model of liberation? What happens when you only have a model of someone who's oppressing you and keeping you down, someone keeping you away from your rights, someone doing something, someone always doing something to you? What happens when nobody's doing anything to you? What does that look like? What does that feel like? Are you able to gather yourself and really look in the mirror and understand your nature? The question is, can you really accept your nature as divine? So some of you listening and watching this show don't even see yourself as divine being. Some people watching this see themselves only in a classification where some may find derogatory phrases to call you. Nigger, cracker, a spit, all these different connotations to insult your presence and your character. All of these things to insult your heritage, your presence. Why do they spend so much time telling you who you're not? Why do they feed you models of dysfunction? Why is it easy to have things in the radio, on television that are so dysfunctional, and things that truly, truly empower individuals, not so much? Separation is only in denial of presence. How do you give up your power for mediocrity? How is it when you pursue your dream, the thing that you go towards for seems to be so hard? Why is that? Why is that model such a great thing for us? Why is the model that we have is always the author of struggle? Why? In everything we do, we got to talk about the struggle. Why is that always the focal point of the struggle? Why has that model is so profound that any and everybody talk about it? Why does that model mean so much? Those are all mental models, things that you things that you call truth. So again, what happens when your truth model is distorted? What happens? There's a level of educating yourself to where your models have to be in line and actually take you through a guidance of how you find and evolve to where that model now changes you. So you don't keep the same mental model when you go into change. It's the same thing as nature models. And when we look at the dragonfly, when it evolves and goes through its metamorphosis state, it goes from larva to nymph into the full dragonfly. Then you got the butterfly. It goes from its, larva, the caterpillar, going to cocoon stage, going into it. The frog and the tadpole, the same thing. So nature model has already shown us a process of evolution, not just a process of change. A lot of people change and not evolve. Nature models shows evolution. All nature evolved. Where the dog stayed the same, look at the many different dynamics of what is called dog, wolf, fox, dog, tiger, panther, lion. All those are aspects of dog. That's all as a cat. Just do your research. Don't talk to me. And if I'm wrong, put it in the comment and tell me how wrong I am. And then give me the information of where you got yours from so I can go back and I can recorrect myself. And then bring you on live so you can check the people and everything live. So don't come telling me what I'm talking about wrong. I'm saying look at what's happening. Look at the models. So if we actually looking at the models, we can understand what it is that we're seeing. But when you don't understand mental models, the thing that you call real, the thing that what they call that box, the thing that's inside there, there's nothing like Miss Lady. You are correct. Yes, ma'am. These mental models are correct. These mental models are something serious. And just think about nature models. In nature model itself, right? When we begin to understand nature model and model after nature, they become to be a harmony. They also become a moment where you understand season. So if we're just really understanding nature, you may come into people may come into your life for only a season. Something may come into your life for a lifestyle, for a lifetime. I said a lifestyle. Or it could be a lifestyle too. Some people could come into your life and actually share with you a lifestyle that helps you know what it is and what it is that you understand and how it is you can grow and evolve. These mental models are something that I pay very close attention to. Because in conversation with people every day, they allow me to see their mental model. It doesn't matter about being right or wrong. It's not about analyzing the individual or every time you talk to somebody, you analyze them. No, it's just to really understand the model that you're speaking from. It's the same thing as understanding someone's vibration. If I walk into your home, I walk into and anywhere around you, and I see you for the first time, and you at a very, very low vibration, that means whatever model that you're going to speak on is going to be a very low vibration. It's going to be fact. It's not going to be me sitting there saying, oh, well, I wonder what's going on in their life. They don't want to know about the power of God with the internet. Man, nobody got time for that. If you're not realizing the true divine power of the God within you, and God is within you, and you don't want to access that, well, then continue with the nature that you're rolling with. Everything that's the best nature for you, and let that model be the thing that guides you. For those who are understanding, that are evolving, that are changing, that are understanding that, hey, I might need to change the model that I have. Maybe this model is no good. Maybe a change would be good right now. So you would learn something new. You would get around new people. You would start to build partnerships and friendships with folks. The problem with most people right now in their mental model, they so separated and so calm and so easily separated, it's easy. Miss Lady said that is correct. The only thing that we got to know is the difference. Most of us mistakenly categorize seasonal people for lifetime people. Exactly. I definitely have had seasonal people that come in that really gave me a huge boost and a huge change in my life. And then I had some people that I thought were lifetime people, and they were only seasoned people. So again, sometimes we have our own ideas about what that model really looks like when it comes to evolution. And hey, look, we are all evolved. Right now, the energy on this planet is so intense right now, where people are dying, spontaneous combustion, people are losing their mind, people are walking and falling down and just dying, people are hearing things that is driving them crazy, people are seeing things that they cannot believe, people are seeing things they can't even explain. You got stuff all over all these social medias that's showing all kind of these anomalies that's happening all over the world. Where you seeing the veil is lifted, the master teacher's been talking about it for a long time. There's going to be a moment when the veil is lifted and you're able to see from plane to plane. What's the model when your mind is conducive and shrink to a place where now you're just lost and through your own ideas of hurt and pain based upon the model that you have? Your mental model. Can you are you able to detach from the thing that you're holding on so tightly that's causing you so much pain? I had a thing with my daughters that I used to tell them for years. I used to say, if the chair that you were sitting in was laced and had nothing but razor blades and nails and knives in it, would you sit your behind in it? They was like, no. I was like, okay, don't sit yourself in your mind to where all that's causing you all that pain and problem. Don't sit in the thing that's causing you problems. How many of y'all right now are watching this, gonna be listening to this, and gonna be saying, how many times have I sat in that seat of knives and nails and razor blades and sat down and complained about the pain? What? So which means the model that you have is so painful, you're comfortable to sit down in it. That's the mental model that you have. And nature model is nothing like that. If you have ants for instance in nature. If the ants, if you see all these different lines of ants going on, if you see one line cut off and then you got other ants, now they double timing to this side, which means the ants that went up to that line never return. And if they don't return from the path they go on, the main ants will cut that line off and not send other people out there to get killed. They will only send them to the places where they know the food is. It's the same thing with your model. When your mental models, how do you see yourself every single day? What about the people that you interact with? If you work a job, what's your mental model for your job? Is it a career? Is it something that you're doing and get you to the next end? Is your mental model saying, hey, you know what? As an entrepreneur at heart, I'm at my job for internship and I'm learning in this internship. And when I leave this internship, I'll go ahead and continue to create and evolve in my company, in my business. I'll go ahead and set up my LLC while I'm working. And then as I transition, I get more and more into it. What's your mental model? Nature is going to tell you and going to allow you to know how it's going to model. When those storms come, it's not asking if you're ready for the storm or not. The storm is going to come because that's a seasonal model. Yeah. Oh, we got seasonal models. Seasonal models is where for that season, someone comes into your life for a season or a job for that season, or internship of that season. Whatever happens in that season comes to perfect and to grind out, to help evolve that thing within inside of you that you've been looking to do. It's going to be uncomfortable. Nature model is uncomfortable because it's very dynamic. You got to understand the nature of God. The nature of God does not need man's input. It's man input on the nature of God that has us here. I'll say it again. The nature of God don't need man input. It's man input on the nature of God that got us here. So there have been those who have misled, took nature's model, deformed them, and then presented a model of dysfunction and called it normal. And I've taught my daughters and told them a long time ago, it was hell when they made dysfunction normal and normal a dysfunction. So when you make changes in your life, when you change your mental model, you have people say, "Oh, who you think you is now? Oh, you done changed. You think you somebody different? You you gonna demonize me that I changed my mental model and I ain't doing the same dysfunctional shit that I once was doing? And that's what you gonna say to me?" Wow. So people will tell you exactly their mental model if you just listen. Those who listen to this, go to work the next day. If you on a job, go to work the next day and listen to your coworker. Your coworker gonna tell you their mental model. Listen to your supervisor. Your supervisor gonna tell you their mental model. Listen to your children. Your children will tell you their mental model. Listen to your grandkids. Everyone will tell you their mental model. Everybody. That's why I never had to ask anybody, "Well, how you feeling today?" Hell, you gonna tell me. You know, people say, I ain't no way you can feel this good every day. Why the hell not? Why in the hell you can't feel good every day? You see what they say. Model is to build your yes, you is to continue to move through those models and other. Yes, seasonal models are meant to strengthen you and stretching you to help you to grow. I agree 100%, 100%. That is the most truest thing ever. But a lot of times people don't really understand seasonal models. They get so angry with the people they're in a season with because that season maybe have disrupted their lives. So in the disruption of their lives, now they define the season as being horrible. It was a, how they call it? It was a cold winter. This was a hot summer. They're defining the model. Summertime is supposed to be hot and the wintertime is supposed to be cold. So why in the world people are complaining about these seasons beats me. I listen to people complain when it's hot, it's too hot outside. I listen to people complain when it's cold, it's too cold outside. So that means in your mental model, you ain't happy about shit. Nothing that you do happy. Nothing bring you joy. Everything is a complaint. And if you're around people that's complaining every single day, get the hell away. Get the hell away. Miss Lady, would you like to come on live and talk about some of your mental models? If you say yes, I put the link in the chat, and you can come on and jump in live if you want to jump in live. So just shoot the comment down below, and if you want to come in live, I'll drop the chat. I'll drop it in the chat right there. You know, but yeah, these mental models are everything. You know, we have to realize, you know, what it is that we're doing on a daily basis when it comes to the things that we're saying every single day. Every single day. Are we paying attention to how we actually uh, live in our lives? Are we paying attention to what we teaching our children? You know, sometimes I've seen children come in and they be so disrespectful to the parents, and I go like, well, where did they get that model from? Because if a child is 3 and 4 years old and being very, very disrespectful, that's not something they just learn in school. There has to be a model that they live by. So a lot of times, you know, we don't even understand the model that we teach our own children. So these lifetime models we gonna have to start addressing. Because some of us in our 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s and have models that need to be changed. Don't keep the same model if it's causing you that much pain, that much confusion. There should be a level of peace somewhere. Somewhere. Said, sure, let me go into I'm looking for Kevin. Y'all hold on for me 1 second. Now, how do I get this? Huh? Hold on a second, family. Hold on 1 second. All right, I'm back. Here we go. All right. I just shared the link in the chat. And come on live and let's talk about these models. You know, I take a few moments to share the love, you know, and yeah, the mental model has been something that has transformed my life because it allowed me to terraform my mind. So when I always talk about terraforming my mind, we're talking about only having conditions of where the spirit resides, the spirit of love dwells. What happens when the unfolding of love dwells within your mind? Spirit of love. Peace and light. The unfolding of love dwells within your mind. Hello. Can you hear me, Miss Lady?
I can hear you.
All right. You want to talk about some of the mental models that you went through?
Oh yeah, I have been through some stuff since I was 15.
Okay.
Left home at 15.
And so the model that you have at 15 compared to the woman that you are now, what was the big change in your life?
The biggest change for me is as I got older and I started having children of my own, it put me in a place where I felt what my mother felt when I left home. And I felt the hurt, the pain, the desperation. She didn't know whether I was living. She didn't know I was dead. It's just like I disappeared. And once I realized that I had my own, and I went through some of the things with my oldest daughter, I had to go back and apologize.
That was
I had to go back.
That's powerful.
I had to go back and apologize. And then once I did that, that's when I started finding out some things about my mom and what she went through. But because she never revealed it to me and my siblings, we had to end up going through some of the same things she went through.
Ooh. So the model continued from generation to generation.
Yes.
And
so
because now, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No,
you first.
Okay. And now because I didn't realize and didn't know that it was a generational curse, it happened to my oldest daughter.
Wow.
And my oldest daughter right now, she's 29 years old. And she's still dealing with that particular curse.
Wow.
Because I didn't recognize it, and I didn't know it was a general curse until it was too late. But when I finally recognized it, I was able to break that curse off of my baby girl.
Good.
That way she didn't have to go through.
Changing the model. That's what we got to do. That's what we
We
have to
have
do
to
today.
we have to change
Hmm
our mindset. It's a
Yes,
it's a necessity.
agreed. Do as a melanated woman, is it difficult to teach newness to the children after they have learned so much of the world? And when you go to import that love back into them, do you find those are difficult times to the youth?
It all depends on that individual person
Okay.
and the reason why, because you don't know what their mental status is, or is if they going through something at home or going something at school or something real personal they're holding on to and they won't talk about it. And when you try to reach out to them to help them not go through some of the things that you went through, it'll be kind of difficult to get through to them because
Hmm
the generation we have now, they know it, they know it all. We don't know nothing, and a lot of them feel like we owe them something. But
Right.
in my opinion, I think we do owe them something.
We do. We do. Because we were actually, and to no offense to my mother and grandmother who raised me, but they did raise me in dysfunction. They didn't know they
No, they
raised
didn't.
me in dysfunction. They didn't know that the mental models that they gave me were not beneficial to me. They gave me and they did the best they know how. So, when you realize that there are changes need to be made, you make those changes. And then you teach that to your children, then your children teach it to the children. So that's the generational break, because they already quote unquote generational cursed us, by teaching us the same this dysfunctional debauchery
Right.
and teaching that same thing to our children, like soul food eating. That's gonna kill you.
Yes.
It's good. It's good food, but it's gonna kill you.
Kill you. Yeah.
So that model right there has led more melanated people to the graveyard than any other drug. The
That's true.
food has killed the mental model that we have about food has killed us more than any other drug on the planet.
And what's so crazy? My husband got me into like watching the news, like CNN and different stuff like that,
Okay.
and a lot of documentaries and stuff. And I watched something one day, and then it was on my reel on social media, but how they are how they not personally, they are purposely putting stuff in the food to kill us.
hmm hmm
Then the food that's good for us, they inflate it so where you won't buy it because you think it costs too much.
hmm hmm Well, they gave us a model, and when I grew up, the model we had, we went into the garden and we got the
Yes.
vegetables and we went and picked the fruit when I was young. Then they changed that model, then everything started going to the store. I mean,
Yep.
even the model of when we got our meat, we went to the butcher. We
Yep.
didn't go to the grocery store, we went to the butcher. The butcher gave us the meat, and then we went from the butcher, then we take it to the house, we threw it in the
Mm-hmm.
freezer, we cook it whenever we was ready. So they
Yep.
changed a lot of different models, they changed our schools. I even had a conversation with a principal and a vice principal and a teacher. This was years ago at my granddaughter's school. I'm not going to say the school because I'm not going to call them out. I just say that there was a Lexington County school. I just say that. And
That's where all my boys graduate from Lexington District 2.
I'm I'm
And
I'm gonna leave it. I'm not gonna call it up. I'm gonna say that that's the dish I was in. So
yeah.
I called a couple of friends of mine that were in the educational system.
Mm-hmm.
And after talking to them, I said, I got two questions. I sat down with the principal, the vice principal, and the teacher. I said, I got two questions. I said, I'm gonna ask the first one. I may not need to ask the second. I said, your curriculum that you have, is that a statewide curriculum or regional? They said we have a state curriculum, we have a format that we have to stand to, and by regional, we can teach whatever we want in the regional. I told my daughter, get up and let's go. They crazy as hell in here. She said, what? I said, that means that's why you can go to all these different schools and they're being taught something different. As long as they stay within state guidelines, they can model any type of education system that they desire. They can build whatever model they want to. And I thought that was the most powerful thing that was when and he was so calm. Well, yeah. And saying it all professional like that was some deep stuff that he was saying.
Yeah.
So
I used to go sit in my kids' classes and just to see what they was teaching. And one of the classes was my son's class, and the teacher, he made it a point to make this statement: what I'm teaching this is what the state is telling me I got to teach you. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, yeah, and I'm sitting there like, are you saying that because I'm in here? Or is you just, or is this something that's normal that you say? So when I asked my son, I said, does she normally say that? He said, no, ma'am. I said, okay. Okay. I said, I take it from there. And what I had to do to make sure that my boys got what I need them to get from the school, from Lexington School District. All of them got the teachers, the principal got to know me because they know I'm coming in there. They don't know when I'm coming, but they know. Oh, she coming. She coming to visit classes. She gonna ask questions.
Yeah.
Because I had to tell one teacher, I said, at the end of the day, I say, you melanated just like me. I said, and even though I know what the state telling you what you got to teach them, but there's no cameras in your classroom. And this was back in the 90s. Was there really no cameras in the classroom? No recording devices. I said, you can teach them what you know they need to know. She told me, she said, no, I can't. I said, why you can't? She said, because if I do that, a white student, this is exactly what she told me, will go tell their parents. And she said, and from that point on, it will be a big mess.
You know, when that's such a true statement. It's such a true statement. And even when I read Carter G. Woodson, The Miseducation of the Negro, when I read that, he really stated in there that there are two different types of education. One for melanated people and one for white folk. And it blew my mind. And like I said, that's what got me to be able to ask those questions to these principals and vice principals, is because I understood the dynamics of what they were teaching. I knew what I taught my granddaughter before she went to school. And then when she went to school, they dumbed her down they changed that model real quick. I'm talking about 6 months. The model that she started at school with and the model they sent back home wasn't the same model. Was not the same model. Wow. So listen, Miss Lady, is there anything that you want to leave the family with about mental models, nature models, and mimicking and balancing and coming and having that symbiotic relationship between your mental and nature models? Anything you want to share?
Yeah. I was thinking about that because I'm gonna say for the past few weeks, I just been really dealing with me because I felt a void. And I'm like, okay, what in the world is going on with me? Because something just don't feel right with me. And I found out what it was. And what it is, the reason why everything is going on like it is, and everything is so chaotic, and what they put out, they trying to really mess with our mental, because we don't have a connection within the spirit of ourselves that is connected to the Spirit of God.
Right.
And I tell anybody, look, work on you. Deal with you. Get your mental right. If you feel that void, you can go to God and talk to God. But when we mess up at, when we go to God, we go to God for things instead of going to God for that connection, for clarity, for you to have peace, for you to even make it through the day. I have to do that now. I work in an office full of men.
Mm.
And when I tell you my is that crazy, and the reason why, because he done messed over so much money, and he done messed over a lot of people. So the grace and the peace that he had in his life is gone. And now because you can't sleep at night, and now because your mental is messed up and you can't deal with it, you're coming to office and trying to mess up everybody else's mental. Because you don't want that on you, and you rather release it for other people to deal with it. And that's what they call transfer of emotions.
Yes.
And he used to do that to me all the time. And when I finally got it, I had to stop. I said, whatever you did, that's you. That's on you. You keep that.
Right.
Don't do that, because I have to go home. And I have a husband I got to go home to. And every time I walk in that door, he knows automatically what my day been like.
That's right.
And he'll tell me, don't bring that home.
Yeah, I'm a true believer of that. Whether you go to work, leave that at the door. Don't bring that in here. Don't let that affect our home. Don't let it affect our home. I'm a true believer of that. Miss Lady, thank you for the time that you have shared with the family. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your input, and continue to be a part of Talk That Crap. How you doing, sir?
What's up, my brother?
Please,
And
please.
she was so excited. I said, all right, be right now, because my brother, he'll pull your card if you ain't right now. I said,
Hey,
but
man.
it's all in love.
But listen, that's beautiful. Y'all could have been on it together at one time, and we could have did this at one time all together. It's all love, baby. It's
But you know
all
what
love.
I wanted? I wanted her to experience what I experienced when I first started with you. And I ain't want her to be afraid, and I ain't want to be one when she say something, I'm looking at her like, nah, that ain't right. But, I just wanted her to deal with my brother and deal on a positive note and let her be able to express herself without my input.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So then this fits in great. So next week, because I'm talking about mental models and role models and all these different models, seasonal models, right? So I'm going to deal next week, I'm going to be talking about relationship models. And I'm looking to have married couples on the cast. So y'all have just signed up for next week's show. Thank you. Oh,
Say less.
Say
so
less,
awesome.
brother.
So awesome. Yeah, so that's gonna be wonderful next week, man. So yeah, we're gonna be talking about relationship.
I want to give you some flowers because we still here. I want to personally thank you for your brotherhoodship. I want to thank you for having a platform that people could really be themselves and be able to communicate with you and others that's on the platform, just being who we are and being that light, being responsible enough to bring information to brothers and sisters so they could even help themselves get better also through the communication bridge that we have and being able to be real with each other. So thank you.
Man, it's definitely it's gratitude, it's an honor. You've been a real brother to me since I met you, since we started vibing together, man. It's like I've been knowing you for 20 years, bro. And I haven't even known you a whole year yet. And I've shared information with you, and you've shared information with me, personal information that some people don't even share information like that quick. So it's definitely a true honor to me to have a brother like you come into my life and to be able to pour himself into me as well as I pour myself into him. So man, I thank you, brother, for being the man that you are. I appreciate you.
Yeah. I was still ear hustling. I was listening to her. I said, I'm proud of her. I'm proud of her. You know, because sometimes just communicating with me is more communicating people that have the same mindset. And I told her both of y'all warriors anyway, so I knew that was gonna go good.
You know we don't play no games, man. You know we don't play no games. You don't play no games. Hey, do me a favor. I'm gonna end the podcast right now, but don't click off just yet. But I'm gonna do my ending because I want to chop it up with y'all real quick, okay?
All right.
So for that, I'm gonna say to the people, I appreciate everybody that here for the mental models. Next week we're gonna have a show on relationship models. Relationship model. That's gonna be the whole show. We're gonna be about relationship model. We're gonna have married couples. We're gonna have people that's single like myself. And but we're gonna have this whole thing, as I've definitely been through some wonderful relationships. So I look forward to speaking upon the relationship. And with that, I'm saying we're gonna talk that crap, and we'll see you next week. Peace, love, and
line of haters observe and not to support, to discourage. Vision so passionate it's disturbing. Creative rhymes always positive surging. Cosmic folks see emerges. Brain of eternal, hands on my time. Impossible prince can God watch you step in the mind. Soul triggers, power holy divine righteousness. Combined with courage, love of essence. Don't let trauma bind and block your blessings. When you behind the veil, you hear the confession. Give you limitation, corruption, fear, deception. This the age of knowing, evolution and resurrection.